Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Merman Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel today with my Dark Scorpion deck one more time. A lot of people have been private messaging me and independently asking for an update on this deck. So I figured what better opportunity to bring this to you guys than right now during this quarantine time. I'm done a lot of work on it since the first profile. I've switched a couple of cards up. The core of the deck is still very much the same as what it used to be before, but putting a little bit more effort into figuring out how to make it more consistent has definitely, I feel, paid off in the long run. So guys, let's get started. So first things first, when you have a Dark Scorpion deck, you have to have the main guy. 3 copies of Don Zalug. Now, Donnie Z is the kind of character that mends all the Dark Scorpions together. He's a Christopher Walken clone, in case you guys haven't seen my first profile, but he's simultaneously the best Dark Scorpion and not a Dark Scorpion at all. So his name is just Don Zalug. No Dark Scorpion anywhere in his name, but he has 2 effects. So like most of the Dark Scorpions, he has a mill effect that allows you to either look or mill off the top. Like he allows you to mill the top 2 cards off of your opponent's deck to the graveyard. You don't really like doing that since opponents actually like some of their stuff in the graveyard. But his real effect is the fact that when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent by any means that he has, basically what happens is your opponent must randomly discard a card from their hand to the graveyard. So this is actually very, very good. Lately we've seen as Yu-Gi-Oh! Has become more modern, rather than like destruction, hand destruction has become a more viable terms of removal than normal destruction. So Don Zalug can definitely work very, very well in a casual setting. Alongside Dom, we got his girl. That's 3 copies of Dark Scorpion, Mina the Thorn. Mina is your searcher in the deck, and she has 2 effects when she inflicts battle damage. The first effect of which is that she allows you to search any Dark Scorpion card from your deck to your hand, and the second effect is that she allows you to search any Dark Scorpion card from your hand, from your graveyard to your hand. Keep in mind also that she's not once per turn, so if you get her up to higher attack powers, or you equip her with a Moon Mirror Shield or something like that, and find a way to get her to attack multiple times, which is possible, though I took out the cards that allow you to do that in this deck. Technically, you guys could get multiple searches off of a single Mine. Next cards we've got in the deck, 2 copies of Cliff the Trap Remover. This guy does what his name says. He's not stated as such right now, but he actually is a Dark Scorpion. He was errata to be a Dark Scorpion. And so his effect allows you, when you inflict battle damage, to either send 2 cards from the top of the opponent's deck like Dom, or to destroy a spell or trap card on the field. That's your field or your opponent's field, and so that ends up being really, really good. Next card we've got is 1 copy of Chick the Yellow. When he inflicts battle damage, look at the top card of your opponent's deck, and then place it either on the top or the bottom of their deck, or you can take a card from the field and return it to the hand, and that's any card. So he was part of that OTK strategy. And the final one is probably the worst one, unfortunately, and that's Gorg the Strong. It's a level 5 dude, doesn't have his own summoning requirements, but basically he returns a monster card from the opponent's side of the field to the top of the deck when he inflicts battle damage. And this kind of sucks in a way because usually when you're inflicting battle damage, you're either direct attacking or you're swinging over whatever your opponent has. And this is an effect that does target, so taking a card and putting it back on the top of your opponent's deck is not as clean a removal as I think we might have been looking for. But guys, that's it for the monsters. You guys might notice the lack of the Mystic Tomatoes. I have since replaced them with some more consistent options, though I'm not completely closing off the idea of bringing them back. Now, on to the spells. Again, 2 copies of Mustering of the Dark Scorpions. I did test 3 for a little bit. I found that it clogged, though I still am open to the idea. It's like 3 is too much, 2 is too little kind of deal. But I'd rather see Dark Scorpions in my hand than I would Mustering, so this is how it has to stay, at least for the short term. But Dark Scorpion, Mustering the Dark Scorpion, when you control Donzalug, you can activate this card to special summon one of each different Dark Scorpion from your hand to the field, but only one copy of each. But it actually works really, really well at helping you swarm, and if you're running a Link or Isolde variant, Mustering is your main key card that you use to get a lot of those plays going. So this is really, really good. Another card, of course, run by Donnie Z in the show. And now, switching things up a little bit, you guys remember I had that the backup squad in my deck. I actually took those out and replaced them with Messenger of Pieces. Now, backup squad was really great, but I found myself getting defeated before I could reliably use some of the cards that I had access to. And I found that Messenger of Peace kept me in the duel a lot more often than backup squad actually did. And or you know, supply squad or whichever one it's called. So like Messenger of Peace basically prevents your opponent from attacking, or prevents any monsters with 1500 or more attack from attacking. And pretty much, since all your Dark Scorpions have such low attack power, it pretty much only stops Gorg the Strong from attacking. Every other one of your Dark Scorpions are able to launch their very own attacks, which works super, super well. And it actually is great because it has a 100 life point upkeep cost, and if you don't pay the upkeep cost, you can destroy the card. Which means that Messenger of Peace is a rare floodgate that can actually, you actually can turn it off by its own effect. Like, it has such a low upkeep cost, so you can turn it off by its own special ability. And it doesn't really matter if that's the case. But this is really, really good because it helps your Dark Scorpions to compete and helps them stay on the field, maybe give them a longer shelf life than they would have otherwise. Now, moving on, guys, of course, it's still in here. The Bamboo Sword Engine. 3 cursed, 1 broken, 3 golden, and 1 burning. And the reason why I'm keeping the Bamboo Sword Engine in here is primarily because it, is purely exactly what the Dark Scorpions are about. You want to draw into your Scorpions, and you want to use Cursed Bamboo Sword to bounce other Bamboo Swords back to your hand and allow you to attack your opponent's life points directly, because then that's where the real damage comes in. Golden Bamboo Sword, of course, draws you cards, and then Burning is my own personal tech to add on to that engine. I actually really, really do like Burning's Bamboo Sword, because combined together with this card right here, Terminal World, you can create a main phase 1 and 2 lockout that forces your opponent back into the battle phase for multiple turns, basically slowing down the duel, preventing your opponent from doing anything in their main phase 1 or main phase 2 to build any kind of board that would stop your Dark Scorpions, and allowing you at least like 2 to 3 turns of unmitigated attacking and stuff like that. Now, keep in mind, guys, 2 to 3 turns in Dark Scorpions is not going to be enough to defeat most opponents, unfortunately enough. With most decks, this could probably be an OTK. However, in Dark Scorpions, it's just in here to add a little bit of flavor and give the Dark Scorpions, I guess, more cards in their arsenal than they would have. So that's the Bamboo Sword Engine. Now, moving on to some equip spells. We've got, of course, 2 copies of Moon Mirror Shield, which is really, really great for running over things. Dark Scorpions, you shouldn't care. Like, the biggest thing that I think people sort of think is that the higher your Dark Scorpion's attack powers are, the better you're going to do. But that shouldn't matter at all, because the thing is, your opponent can always summon a monster higher, not with Moon Mirror Shield. See, the greatness of Moon Mirror Shield is that anything your opponent summons can be destroyed, because it only has 100, it'll make whatever you have 100 more attack power. And when you destroy opponent's monster and inflict 100 points of damage to them, guess what? Moon Mirror Shield allows your Dark Scorpions to get their battle phase attack effects off. So that works super, super well for a variety of different plays, and is definitely helpful in here. Good at 2, though, because unless I'm planning on bumping my Scorpion numbers up, which is a possibility, it's good in here at that number. Next equipped cards we've got are 1 each of Mage Power and United We Stand. You'll summon a lot of monsters, and you'll also summon set and play a lot of spells and traps, which means you can get like, you know, a Donzalug up to like 3,400 attack power if you actually want. And that's kind of cool because you can run over most things in the game with 3,400 and really, really helps to get that OTK potential going. Now, you'll see why I've decided to keep some of these cards in here in a little bit, but the last equipped spell we've got is Power the Guardians. I'm also running this in my Satellite Cannon deck. I actually really, really do like this card, primarily because it is multiple turn card effect destruction protection. Most of your old cards, and in these old character decks especially, you know, you got a lot of cards that your opponent's playing that will destroy by card effect, and your stuff can't deal with that. You know, it was back in an old time when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was more about battle phase effects than it was about card destruction. And in order for a deck to compete in 2020, you got to have some protection. Power of the Guardians provides that protection as well as a little bit of extra attack boost to boot. Now, next cards we do have are 1 copy of Rhoda and 1 copy of Warrior Returning Alive. Believe me, I would run more Rhodas if I could, but Rhoda and Warrior Returning Alive help greatly with getting your Dark Scorpions to your hand when you need them. And of course, the only thing that it can't search, Rhoda can't search, is the Gorg, but everything else in the deck is tutorable. The Warrior Returning Alive, however, can get your Gorg. Next, we have our final staples in the deck. We've got 1 copy of Pot of Desires, 1 copy of Raigeki, and 1 copy of Monster Reborn. I'm thinking about making a more potent draw engine as time goes on, testing out a little bit more when Pot of Extravagance actually becomes cheap. As you guys know, I did have some deck profiles that I did run it, but the card being worth as much as it was, I actually ended up trading it to Dark Magic Ian so that he could pick me up an ulti first ed Uriah, which I do not regret one bit at picking up, but that's what Pot of Desires is in here for. So that's it for the spells. Now moving on to the traps. The newest trap in this deck right now, and one that I really, really love, is Armory Call. Now, Armory Call is a card that I'm running both in here, and I'm also going to be testing it out a little bit in my Satellite Cannon deck. And the reason why this card is so good is because it allows you to grab and instantly equip any equip spells that you want from your deck. And this actually works so well, the fact that it's a trap card rather than a spell, because you can trigger this card to grab a specific equip spell that you want from your deck to a monster on your side of the field, such as Power of the Guardians or a Mage Power, and instantly, you know, sort of get your opponent off guard in battle phase. You know, I always like to discuss the difference between a card like Destruction Punch and Continuous Destruction Punch. They both have the same exact effect of destroying a monster that your opponent controls that attacks into a monster with higher defense power, except one's a trap and one's a continuous spell. So the continuous spell, you can keep activating that effect theoretically over and over again. However, your opponent knows that effect exists, where with the trap, they don't. So Armory Call can catch an opponent off guard during a battle phase where they're more vulnerable theoretically than they are during main phase 2. And it has, in several instances, bought me extra turns to be able to work with my Dark Scorpions. It also has the extra added effect of being able to search your Cursed Bamboo Swords and stuff out of your deck, giving you more options and more ability to make that engine a little bit more consistent than it was in the previous build. Of course, the rest of the trap lineup is still the same. We've got the 2 Painful Escapes. Really, really great for taking out your Dark Scorpions and then also allowing you to search for other things in your deck for the, you know, whatever piece of the Dark Scorpion combo you're missing. Wouldn't change those up. The deck searching is kind of rough right now, so definitely a card that is needed. 2 copies of Mirror Wall for that battle phase surprise. Of course, gotta have that, reducing attack powers and whatnot. And finally, 1 Dark Scorpion combination. That's going to finish off my Dark Scorpion deck updated version. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe on the Team Time Riders YouTube channel for more awesome videos just like this. For once, this has been the Mermail Master, and I'm signing out. Catch you guys next time. Peace.